a response to a video that MPGME did in his Fun Function series, Coding an Editor, where he supposedly do extreme test-driven development. And when he explains 3 ways to interact with code that has dependencies, he states something that I think is quite wrong. That the problem with dependency injection, or he just calls it injection, is that if you do this, you end up in a situation where you just send the dependencies down the call graph. So if you call a method A that also calls a method B, and the thing that has the method B has a dependency, you need to also send it down method A. He might have not meant what he said, or I have misunderstood what he said, but I think I would like to show you anyway, because maybe you also misunderstood him, or maybe I even can teach him something with all the nice things that he tries to teach us, the community. So I'm trying to distinguish between when you inject the dependency or when you pass the dependency to the method or function. So I will call it passing. I'm not sure if it's the correct term. Probably it isn't, but just to have this dialogue and have something to distinguish between the 2 ways you could do stuff. I'm now going to try to write what I think he meant, which I think is incorrect. I mean, I maybe should say what... So I feel that most people that at least means what I thought he meant about the problems with dependency injection, they don't do dependency injection the right way. And doing the right way is, in this case, doing it not good enough, doing it enough. So if you do dependency injection half measure, then you receive at this point. So this is usually when you have an old design and you don't do it test-driven, specifically, not test first, and not top-down, like you try to solve the problem instead you're just building your tools, then you can also have this problem. So we start here with a test in Mocha. I know he used some other tool, but it was a long time I did JavaScript development, and this is what I know. So we'll using Mocha today. So we have some class or some object. So we call it B, and we create a B, and we call B a method on B, and we send it both a and a argument. I need to be consistent here. So we'll create, a variable a, const, by doing a.
And we create arguments.
And it takes a and a arg. So here in this test, we need to create the A and the B, and we also gives both the A and B, both A and the argument to the method itself. This also means that if we would have another scenario,
now paste this code. It will also have a it the method call would become really complicated. So we would do all this stuff.
So what I understood from him, this is his reality when doing development of some sort. Sorry. And if you want to have like a example where what this could be, it could be that A is a logger and C is doing some stuff, but it doesn't really need logger, but B needs log stuff. So because C uses B and A uses, and B uses A, you need to send the logger through C to B to A. You could also write this in another way. If you said that, okay, we don't need to send it through the method, but we still like wanted to follow the flow of the call graph. And sorry if I'm using weird terms here. So, like, if you look at how a action propagates through your application, you usually mean like the call graph. So if you call one function, then it calls some other functions, and you can write that as a nodes and edges, and that becomes a graph, and that's called the call graph normally. So I'm seeing if I can. So say that instead of sending, we say that B needs an A here. Because we inject that, so then this becomes this. This becomes like that. And C here, C creates the B. But since it needs an A, we also need to have an A, like so, right? I maybe not, like I haven't thought this through, so this would be something like it, right? Need to change these. Can we run them? We have some error in which one? Okay, I don't know what's wrong here, and I'm not going to waste your time anymore, but you understand the point at least. So, as you can see here, it's better, but it's still, you would still, if you created a class D, you would need to pass it the A because C needs it so it can create its B. But if we do it correctly, or if you do it full blown out dependency injection, we need to copy this with passing through we would say yes that C gets a B, and then we're done here. And then we create a B here. Did this fix the problem? Oh, sure. That's not how we spell. You see, like that, right? No, like that. I'm rubbish at English. I'm rubbish at spelling in language. Okay, so now when everything passes and we can see, in this style, when you go full out dependency injection, every part of your program, every unit is very simple. It has its dependencies. It doesn't take anything that it doesn't use. It doesn't give anything to anything else. Why it takes a argument here is because it's like a runtime argument. It's not part of the setup of the application or anything. It's something it needs to pass on because it doesn't have it before some request or something has come in. But everything that has to do with like the structure of your application has already happened up here. So if you do dependency injection this way, you still get the problem with like a lot of classes. They're probably quite small. You need to still like manage how you create your classes. So as you see, this test here is like, I mean, the setup is quite big, and you wouldn't have this problem in a real unit test because this would be friendlies like test stubs, test doubles. I mean. So you would actually just create a fake B of some sort, and you wouldn't care about A because you don't care about what happens to A for C in a unit test, maybe in other tests, but in the unit you would just want to know what happens to B when you do stuff to C, right? But you would still like have this logic somewhere in your application, and this is good for other reasons. But we can one step at a time. Now I showed you something that might be interesting. So go back, we have pausing method, you have this problem, it's bad. This is a bit better, but you can see here that you're starting to reach to what we want to, but it's still not good. Like you still feel this weird stuff here where C depends on A, but doesn't use it himself, and it's because it creates B himself instead of asking for a B. And here we have something that looks quite good. Like the units are small, the tests are small, and it's, in my opinion, much better than a message bus because a message bus is just a little bit better than global state because everyone will have it and you don't know which part of the interface you use, and if you write it in the same way as it seems to. I haven't watched the full video because I felt that I really needed to do this, but I watched to 35 minutes in. The way you write the messages becomes a language in its own, and when you try to invent a new language within method calls, you're probably doing it the wrong way. So that's all for me. Hope this will help in the discussion about how you should do good testing and development. Bye.